Today, I'm gonna be talking about the freehand, creativity, and the artist's eye. I think it's really important to know how to draw on paper, on canvas, or anything that helps you on tattooing and helps your eye. Kind of give you an idea of sizing just by looking at an arm. You can real fast see how big you need to do a design to fit good. So artist's eye is always, it helps whenever you draw a lot. So drawing, never always keep on drawing, no matter how much tattoos you do. Drawing is always a good thing. It helps you with your arm, with your eye, with your arm, the wrist, everything. And we're also going to talk about the muscle anatomy. That will help you with the flow of everything. The arms, whatever you do, legs, chest. You have to know a lot about the muscle because that's where you're tattooing. And that's how a lot of top artists, they go with the body, and that's what makes a good design. Whenever you just see something like, wow, it just fits. That's really important. And then understanding the flow and fillers. We're gonna talk about the flow of the design and fillers. I don't know, but the fillers, that could easily be, it's either gonna make it a good design or it's gonna make it or break it, you know? Kind of like with the white highlights. If you do a lot of white highlights, you just mess up the whole thing. There's a technique to it. You gotta know where to put the fillers. If there's a spot and you're tempted to do a filler, but you know it doesn't belong there, don't do the filler. Leave it alone. I'll give examples on that too, knowing how to do filler work. So that's what I'm gonna cover today. Let's see, I'll put a picture up here. That's what I'm talking about. Learning how to do the flow and filler work. A lot of people, I see a lot of artists, they do filler work, and I have it on my arms. They just want to just fill the spot with smoke. Have you seen a design that's just smoke? And it's like, why is there so much smoke? And I don't know, it just irritates me whenever I see a spot that's just filled up with smoke whenever you could have done another design there. But the artist filled it up with smoke, and it just ruined the whole arm. And that's the type where you can ruin a piece. If you got a big spot right there, you don't have to fill it up with fillers. But I'm gonna cover that later on. But so I wanna use this opportunity to give you a little of an idea how I started. Because I don't know if y'all know anything about my startup. Like I said, I give you a little hint or a little idea on how I was brought up. Old school tattooing. They come in, they want a tattoo, they want it now. And right now, I'm talking to the new ones that are coming in the industry, coming in into a time that's really acceptable with the, appointment. Back then, it was your appointment. I want it now. It's good that we're going to the transition on the appointments and people are going and wanting that, but it kind of kills the part of knowing how to do things on the fly, having pressure, having to put your creativity on the line and let's go. That's what I learned with me dealing with walk-ins and having to get and adjust on the fly. So me, whenever I began, and that kind of helped me with my freehand, because whenever people came in, they wanted to get something and we didn't have it on the walls, I had to draw it. And I started drawing it on the arm, on the skin, because I draw it so much that I was like, I can draw it on you and cut the middleman, cut the stencil, just straight. It's scary, and I wouldn't recommend it unless you draw a lot. I got comfortable because I draw a lot. And that's what I'm saying. Whenever you draw a lot, you get comfortable drawing on skin because you're just, it's natural. It's just a second nature to y'all. So that's why whenever I started, me coming in, mentors are like, no appointments, get them in right now. Draw it up. You don't know what to draw, get creative. Do something. Sketching and drawing comes with prep and research and your game plan. So who does prep, researching on your designs before you even start? Who does that seriously? That's it. If you got a tattoo coming in, appointment tomorrow, do you research designs for that, or do you research anything like that, homework? So that's what I was, sketching and drawing helps you do that. And it helps me with my freehand. So whenever I draw and sketch on my iPad, that's why whenever I get to the freehand, I'm comfortable, dude. Because I know I did my prep on paper. what I'm saying? So whenever it's time for me to draw on the arm, I did it on paper, so it's second nature to me now. So I know where I want it to go, I know everything. So when people say, oh, you're so talented, you just did it right there on the fly. I didn't see me doing the behind the scenes work, you know what I'm saying? So me having the thing of me just putting it on skin is because I did my prep. I did my game plan, and I did my research. So I need you to always do that. Take this seriously, man. We sometimes take it for granted because we do this every day. This is like nothing. This is us coming to work. We don't think about the client, how they're feeling. They do an appointment 2 months ago. They're excited for that appointment. Even a week before the appointment, they're excited. They're waiting for it. So whenever the day is here, they're excited. They want to see the design. They want to see how it's going to look. So by y'all doing that, it just takes y'all seriously, and the client will take y'all even more seriously and will be able to I guess, for them to be safe. I would love to come in here because they take it seriously. And that's our job, to give them a nice piece. I'm saying our best to our ability. So doing that helps y'all be going to the next level every time. So always do that prep work, research, and sketch. Draw on your sketch, prep. So the next one is the muscle anatomy. Who of y'all know an idea of the muscle anatomy? Do you know the names of it? So I encourage y'all to do your research on the muscle anatomy. It's gonna help y'all with put it on the tone, you know what I'm saying? When I say set it on tone, is say if you're doing an arm, how sometimes when you do a stencil and you place it on them and they want to flex, because I don't know, they always do it. Clients only want, they want to show you the cuts. And that's good, I love that, because it shows me the flow of the arm. So use that as a guide to how big the design you want to put. How big of the size needs to be for that arm. So muscle anatomy is really important no matter what, the arm, the chest. Make sure it's the right size. Don't give them a size for their budget. I'm saying if it matches their budget, and if it's not gonna fit good on the body, say, hey man, save up a little bit more, or we can do sessions. Let me do the outline, but I have to make it bigger. You know what I'm saying? Make it bigger, make it the size it needs to be on the chest or the arm. You know what I'm saying? Don't focus too much on the pricing. Oh, they can afford it, so I'm gonna make it a little small one. And it's gonna look weird. It's not gonna look good. So don't focus on that if they can't afford it. I'm sorry. We're here to give good shit, you know what I'm saying? Good tattoos, good size for the body. So muscle anatomy, I think, is really important for that, for knowing how big you need to put the design. So this is a little example of muscle anatomy, how everything is flowed, the sizing, and of course, everything's sizing is more on the type of the arm. Everybody's arm is different. You got skinny, you got chubby, and you got, what's the other one? Swole, like the ones they can't wipe their own ass, that type of arms. So you always gotta look at the arm. Even when people message you on Instagram or anything like that, and they want pricing, I gotta see your arm for me to even get an idea on pricing. So it's the idea of what I'm talking about with the muscle, the flow of the muscle. When they flex this, it always pops. So right there is a guideline whenever you tattoo in that area. So for apprentices, make sure the design fits that spot. And if it's a design that I guess you can add to it, ask them, hey, are you gonna be wanting to add to it in the future? It gives you an idea on how you're gonna end that design, so it can be added when they come back, they wanna add more stuff. It's easy to add to the design. So I use this picture, I don't know, it looks like one of those Fantastic Four stretch arms, but I just put that up because the inside of the arm too, it's real tricky, man, for it to look good on the inside. The outside, you have more of a guide because it has more muscle tone. But the inside, if you do anything, portraits or anything like that, it's best to place it on flat surface. Did y'all know that? Flat surface is always, especially faces. So if you do a portrait right here in this arm, you gotta locate what's the flat surface. That's where you put the face of the portrait or anything like that. That way it won't distort the image, you know what I'm saying? So that's really important, knowing where to place the design for it not to get distorted. Always look at the muscle tone. There's another examples of types of arms. You got the leans, and then you got the not so leans. So on the leans too, you gotta know nice sizing, and especially on the elbow part. Make a design that the elbow's not gonna ruin the whole design. And then you got the more meaty. I like tattooing these arms because you have more of a canvas, but you gotta, no matter how much, say that you don't see no muscle, but you have an idea where the muscle is, gives you an idea how you can put your design or even do the filler. Old skin, dude. It's no shame to just be like, hey, I don't feel comfortable tattooing this old, skin. I know I'm gonna do a horrible job at it. Ain't no shame on it. You know what I'm saying? You're not ready for it. You can easily damage that skin, Not knowing how to adjust the needle, how far out the needle is gonna be, overworking it. It's easy to overwork that. So always be careful with that type of skin, arms. And then too, with the guys, you got the big guys. Also, you can see it. A little tip, if you don't know, like sometimes some guys are real rounded. Shine a kind of a light, make a shadow, and you'll see a little bit of a cut. So it gives you a little guideline. But all shapes and sizes on the arms determine the size of the tattoo. Don't go real small on a guy like this. Now, if it's something that's not gonna ruin it, maybe a logo of something, their company or whatever, fine, make it a size for that spot. Don't make it too small. But you also got the skinny ones, skinny arms. That's tricky, because depending on what they want, if it's a portrait, if it's something like that with detail, there's no room. So you're gonna have to come up with your creativity to redesign it or whatever, make the certain elements bigger, eliminate some designs or whatever, some details for it to be readable on the arm like that. It's something that y'all gonna have to learn by doing it. But here, we're at least giving you a little bit of advice, tips on whenever you do have that situation happen. Y'all know how to attack it and not be too intimidated or I'm gonna mess this up or whatever. Just read it, see what the design is, and adjust to it. Tattooing is all about adjusting. No matter what it is, it's always adjusting, man. It's either adjusting your needle, your throw, your voltage, the position of the client. You're always adjusting things, so don't be afraid to always be adjusting. That's what it is with tattooing, it's always adjusting things. The other one is understanding movement. And that's what I just said about the muscle tone, knowing how the design needs to be moved or flipped, mirrored, real crucial for the they're wanting. So fillers, just like I said with the white highlights, it's easy to ruin it, man. I can give you an example. So I got this tattooed whenever I was just few months in the tattoo game, right? And me not wanting to wait, I want to get my whole arm tattooed. I had artists that weren't really, they weren't really educated enough with the designs, how everything needs to be, right? Flowing. Can everybody see from right? Yeah, can see? So you see all this? It's just smoke. Look at that. It's just filler work that he just wants to fill in, whatever. That's the type of I don't want y'all to do. I don't want y'all to just fill in the little spot, just shading. It has to make sense, man. That could ruin the whole arm. That just the design you did can ruin that whole thing. So just like white highlights, you gotta know where to put the filler work, where not to do anything. Like this guy right here. He knows he could easily fill this shit in, but he didn't. All he did is just shade it off and left that alone. Because if you do a bunch of filling work, it's just gonna ruin the whole piece. So knowing where to put it, see right here, I already got an idea what I want. I want a micro coil machine right here. And that's perfect, right? But if it would have been a filler work right there, that would have been ruined. I couldn't do nothing about it. It would have been another one of this. So that's what I'm saying. Like, don't feel pressured of doing filling work where there's not supposed to be no filling work. You know what I'm saying? Just let it be. Gives me an opportunity to want to ask some questions. When you do, pass the mic. Give us an idea what was it, and do you have a picture of it? Do you recall what it is?
It is exactly what you hate.
What?
It was smoke.
Yeah, you added smoke to
I
it.
added smoke. Yeah.
What was it? What was the elements in that
The
design?
fire serpent. When I did the fire serpent with the leaf headdress, guy, Aztec dude.
Oh.
Yeah, I
Okay.
filled it all in with smoke. Because the original design of the headdress Aztec dude, it had smoke all behind it. So what I did is I just left the smoke right next to it, and then I did the dragon, and then we filled in the little areas with smoke.
What made you choose smoke?
Because it was in the original design of the first tattoo that we did. So it already kind of worked with that first design, so I just went with it. And no, it turned out pretty good.
Sometimes it does work, and sometimes, but the thing is,
But I just don't know how I'm gonna. We stopped it at elbow. I don't know how I'm gonna branch
exactly,
it all
there
the
you
way
go.
out.
Because you did too much smoke in there. Did you?
No,
Going
it's-
up?
Yeah, it stops. It just kind of stops and kind of fades out, kind of fades away.
So if you would have done it all over again, how would you end it?
That's a good
That's
question.
It, you know? What do you
Because
just?
I don't know what he wants up on the top of the shoulder. That whole spot's blank. It's all still new canvas.
Exactly. So that right there, if we don't put too much of the, I gotta fill in this part right here. If you would have just shaded off, like an example like this, it don't even have to be just a little shade. You can always, whatever they add on top, you can come up with something to blend it in together, and you have the spot to work on it. Instead of you, like, oh man, I added this smoke here. Now I gotta fucking do something. Yeah, and that's just a headache right there. So stuff like that. That's why don't feel pressured on. Even I have clients that said, "Hey, there's a spot right here. Can you fill it in?" I'm like, "No, I don't want to fill it in because it's just gonna not make sense. Are you gonna want to add to it? Yeah, eventually. Cool. Whenever you add to it, we can blend it in together, and it will make more sense. Everything will flow better." Now, if they're like, "Well, no, I think this is my last tattoo. This is all I'm gonna get." Well, let me. I can come up with something else rather than some random filler work. Yeah. I can add, depending what it is. If you're doing a koi fish, I can add a cherry blossom, a little petal, or something.
Yeah.
Come up with something, creativity that's gonna fit there without doing too much of a fill-in.
So I have a client. He's getting a bunch of patchwork. He's going to sleeve all the way up, which is patchwork. He told me he wants smoke as a filler. What is a better way to tie in just patchwork? How do you tie that all in together without just some abstract kind of smoke or something like that?
What's in this patch? Like the designs, what kind of style is it?
So there's like an I-45 logo on his wrist. There is like a frame sombrero skeleton with like text over the top. Just stuff about his life.
So it's just a bunch of symbols kind of thing. Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, in that, yeah, you're gonna have to be more the creative of. Perfect. Where's it at? There was a tattoo here that I have. I would suggest something like, if the person has a favorite flower or a favorite something in that type of element, you know, like this. I love how he did this. It's in and out of everything. So if he has patchwork, you can do this like floral going down, and it will all bring together because it's a background thing. And even that right there will help the design bring it all together. No matter what it is, no matter if it's patchwork, it'll bring it all together. Especially if you add some type flow like this too in the background with the petals. That just brings it all. It don't have to be floral, it could be something else. Think about it as a wallpaper. How wallpaper has patterns. And if you put like stickers over the wallpaper, but it still brings it all together because of the wallpaper, that kind of background. So if you think about it like that, it'll help you a lot on how to piece it all or bring it all together with patchy work or patchwork. Another example, beautiful, traditional work, traditional tattoos. How it's all patch, right?
Exactly.
What do? They put little star thing all around the filler work, and it brings it all together, like wallpaper. So think about it like that. It has to make it more of a flow. You can add, like I said, you can add something like that, like a wispy thing. But if you just think about it as a wallpaper, it'll help you a lot, bring it together. But now you got to come up with and with your client, a design that they will be, or an element they'll be happy with in there. So I would approach it like that. All right, so that right there on the flow before we got cut off. An example on this, I was saying this lightning. You see how that lightning just gives it a flow? And right here, that's the knee. It just shapes it. And then you got this lightning right here that brings the back part together too. So that's what I'm saying, the perfect design for whatever body part you're doing right away whenever it fits. Because even whenever you place the stencil, oh man, that's gonna look good because it fits. And this is all three of them. They're different styles, but they have the same thing. Flow, filler work that makes sense. And it comes like this one. The filler work is right here and the background. That filler work works with the design. On this right here, they did the filler work with that kind of Versace freak design, and it shapes the background and it shapes the muscle. And they add like 3 elements to it. And a good filler work will bring it all together. But stuff like that, man, there's a science to it and there's a technique to it, man, that makes a design look real good. So yeah, that's what good filler work does. It just brings it all together. I think I covered everything. Drawing. Who here draws every day? Raise it high. Who has projects in the works right now? Like it could be painting, it could be drawing your own little thing, designs. So drawing helps you. Don't think about it as like, oh, I'm tattooing already, I don't need to do this. That's a bad attitude, man. You're gonna have to draw something. You're gonna have to keep your creativity sharp. It's fine to go with the reference and all that, but sometimes it helps being creative whenever you're drawing on the fly. That's why I tell y'all whenever y'all started, especially you apprentice, draw, sketch, anything. It helps you, your artist's eye, and it helps you learn on the values and shapes. Muscle anatomy, we covered with the flow and all that. Learning your tones. Who has here tattooed somebody that's really toned or I guess real chubby that you don't see nothing? What's easier for y'all? Tone?
Both.
Both is easy?
I like the
I normally don't like it when they're bigger. I normally don't like it when they're bigger because stretch marks, whenever they swell, it is terrible. And there's no way to get past it unless just backteam their whole tattoo. But that's why I like tone people better, is because you can see where it's supposed to go. And it helps with the stretching of the skin 9 times out of 10.
I like to do both.
Both? You don't have no problems with any, like what's more challenging? Is it the chubby ones or is it more the tones, real tones?
Yeah, the chunky ones.
Yeah?
The chunky ones, yeah. You have to just know what you're doing. But you can do it.
It's more work.
I like doing it. I like doing both.
I have more problems with chunky ones because I like to go bigger, always bigger. So I like when I have a lot of room to put my design really bigger and fill with elements and different elements. So I like to go bigger.
But yeah, that muscle tone and anatomy will help y'all on whatever size of person y'all get. So I suggest study on the muscle tones if y'all haven't already. You look like you've been schooled already on muscle tones, right? I want to start this as a thing that, because we're always doing our own thing and it works for us, we want to share it and see if Gavin gets something out of it, or Hannah, or whatever, Hayden, you. It's just sharing ideas here, man. We're a studio with a lot of artists here, man. So let's take the opportunity to help each other out and help all of us, this studio, to go next level. This is what the big dogs are doing. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to copy them, but what I'm trying to do is trying to keep up with the competition. That's what I'm seeing. I'm not doing this like, oh, because I want to be like them, I want to copy the seminar book. No, they're doing the seminars because they're helping their artists be the top level like them. So if we want to compete with them, we got to keep up with the competition, man. We don't want to be satisfied and, oh, we're just going to wait for this walk-in of little tattoos and that's all we're going to do because we don't help each other out to advance. You know, we want to get the big fish, man. All the little fish, that's nice, whatever. But our goal is to get the big fish. Every day I got a big tattoo and that's all I do. 1 tattoo a day, 2 grand plus, 4 grand plus. That's what I want to be. That's what the big artists are doing. They ain't worried about no little fish or whatever. They're worrying about the big one. So if we want to be in that, this is what we're doing, and we're gonna help each other out. If you got a question, say it. Closed mouths don't get fed. If you don't open your mouth about your problem or what you're having, you're just gonna keep on having that problem because nobody knows about it, and you don't want to be helped because you don't want to talk. We don't judge around here, man. Say it. Say what kind of problem you're having on tattooing, technique, or whatever. That way we can help you on, and not get stuck there. Let's keep on advancing. You know, that's what I love about freehand is that I'm in charge of making it the size that I want on that spot. I cut the middleman with the printer, but like I said, I'm comfortable with it because that's how I got started. I tattooed so many drunk cousins. They were like, yeah, just do it. I got my practice on that. And they weren't all good. There's a couple family members walking around and they're like, hey, yeah, Chris did this. And I'm like, bro, stop saying that. Stop bragging about it. He's like, no, man, it's your first ones. But I want to fix them. But at the same time, not everybody's perfect when you first start, man. For y'all trying to be too perfect, man. Just don't worry about that. Worry about learning. The process of learning is making mistakes. I'm saying, but use the tips that we giving you. Use the advice. That's why y'all here too, for us to guide y'all and don't have the crazy focus that I had. Or it's tough, man. Learning by yourself. It's real tough. Right now in your tattoo career, in your new tattoo career, you're just beginning. What is the most challenging for you right now? What's the most frustrating thing about it right now you're having problems with? And maybe if I can't answer, one of y'all, if you have an answer.
Okay. Positioning the client just so they're as stretched as they possibly can be for certain areas like the chest, the ribs, just like places with a lot more skin, like a flabby skin. Like it's hard to find, for me, to find like places to like place them so it's as stretched as it can be. So when I'm doing it, it's not a challenge.
Give me an example. What body part? Okay, Billy, you're my volunteer. All right. Lay down. Lay down. Just lay down normal. Yeah. There you go. All right. How? The position. What do you position? Like if what? You're tattooing ribs or what? What do you?
Let's just say the ribs, because that is a very hard part.
So you're saying, okay, you show me normally how would you position him doing ribs?
All right. Well, I would have two pillows.
Okay. Pillows where?
What do you say? I'd have one underneath here.
Okay.
And I have one above. Probably. I'll probably have two, depending on how stretched I want it to be. I'd put two big ones underneath.
Okay.
And then I have his arm just out. Oh shit! Do I have to repeat all that?
Okay.
Okay. So if I was gonna tattoo someone right here, I would have two pillows, two big pillows right here. Arm grasping over the edge, holding on, and then I could just. It's a lot easier just to do that.
Okay.
But for more flabby areas like let's say like this part of the chest. I think you can always, you can kind of, the side boob, yes, the serratus.
Honestly, there's nothing to do but lay them like this.
Like this? So even if I stretch their arm out, there's nothing I can do?
This will stretch this piece. So if you're in this area, it'd be best to just move them up the way.
Okay, I have a position that I have trouble with.
You can also lay them down also.
On big girls, on the bigger ladies, whenever I lay them down, this little part right here, collarbone area, when they're bigger and chunkier, they got boobs, right? So like I'm like having to like fucking stretch that shit out.
That's why you don't lay them down. Kind of position them up.
Gravity.
This will weigh down.
And then look that way. Or on the other side. You know, you're tattooing.
Okay.
You know.
I do have another question.
Yeah, that was my question.
I'm not done tattooing this area yet. I'm terrified for the day that I have to.
Why?
A girl comes in. She has assets. I'm supposed to be a tattoo in the middle. What the fuck do I do? Do I have to spread her tits apart, like to do it? It's a genuine question. I don't know. Do I have to? Do I?
So yeah.
I've been terrified for that day.
Okay, well, you don't have to worry about it right now.
But I will. Maybe I have a tattoo walking
Whenever if you don't feel comfortable with it, don't do it. Like you'll know when you're comfortable because you know how to do a solid line without being shaky or anything like that. And that's whenever you're comfortable to tattoo any area. Right now, you're getting used to your machine, your needles or whatever. Get used to that. Whenever you know, hey, if I can, it's easy for me to do it on the ribs or any area more difficult than that, then you're ready for this, you know? But don't just do it just because, oh, a walk-in came in and like, nobody here can do it, like, is able to do it, so I'm gonna do it, and I'm just gonna just see how it goes. Like, you gotta have to be comfortable with the needle and your machine before you start doing all that. Okay.
I've only done this once and wasn't the greatest. Tattooing dark-skinned people. How do you do it? Like, how do you work the tones? With like trying to make light tones, you can't.
Well, dark tones, dark skin people, it's actually pretty easy. You just gotta go way darker. Now, if they are extremely black, you're not gonna see a lot. Now, if they want certain colors, you gotta explain to them those are not gonna work on their skin. So, yellows are not gonna fucking show up.
Anything warm colors.
Warm colors, not gonna work. Yellows are definitely not, they're gonna disappear. Don't even try, you're just gonna cause them pain for what? I would say immediately use more of your actual lining black for most of it. And if you have super dark tone, you could use super dark or dark. I wouldn't suggest using medium tone on their skin. Their skin would be the medium. You leave that open space. The light, just don't even use light. And that's basically the key. No, not on dark skin. Okay? Is that it?
Lo que normalmente hago cuando es piel morena, lo que hago es usar el open skin, o sea, la piel de él, utilizarlo como parte de mi set de pigmentos. Normalmente no utilizo tonos light y el tono medio. Lo que hago es que utilizo nada más el 100%, un 80% y un 50% que es mi tono medio light. Ahí lo que hago es, hago mi propio set. Con la misma tinta y el agua voy haciendo el set porque sé que voy a solo utilizar pigmentos más negros y la piel abierta la uso más. O sea, trato de dejar más piel abierta para que eso sea parte del set de pigmentos. Y utilizo poco blanco porque en piel más oscura el blanco se va a ir mucho más rápido, se va a ir a los marrones. Y ya a pasar los años, lo que va a hacer es que se va a ver un marrón en vez de un blanco, que es lo que quisimos dejar.
Okay, for me, like when I do dark skin, I don't use, this is me, I don't use mid, I don't use, all I use is dark. And that's where your pressure on the machine comes in handy. Knowing how dark, the medium, and you make your own fade. Their skin is already mid. They're mid-tone already.
The dark.
With drawing, when you draw, it depends on the pressure on it. So it gives you an idea whenever you tattoo it. Like, it's like
the pressure.
Yeah, it's just like drawing, you know. So that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't use no mid, light, nothing like that, or even dark. I use my dynamic to kind of guide me, and knowing when my pressure, okay, that's my darks. I'm just gonna fade it out into their midtones, and then I got the midtone already there. So it's just y'all knowing your tones and your pressure points that determines the tone. Knowing that it becomes easy. I love tattooing dark skin. It's easy. It's fast for me. That's because I don't know if y'all know, but I started my career and I'm from Northside Houston. So in Northside Houston, there's a shop that doesn't have a good reputation. It's called, you know, yeah. But you laugh, but it taught me a lot. I love it because it taught me a lot of how to tattoo dark skin. And a lot of people get so like, oh my God, my stencil is not there. My stencil is wiped off. Bro, like, that's when your drawing skills comes in. No matter if your stencil wiped up, you know you drew the thing, you drew it on stencil, you draw it yourself, you know where it is. That's why whenever I tattoo dark skin and my stencil wipes out or whatever, I'm not panicking because I know where it is. You know? I love it. It's fast, it's easy. I don't gotta worry about no mid-tone, light tone, dark, blend it in. It's already there. So that right there, whenever you do dark skin, you already have your mid-tone there. You already have that there. All you gotta do is scope and shape.
It's basically less is more.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Less is more.
You have to use less.
That was your question?
Try to cover up less.
So, did it answer that for you?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
I got it.
All right. Beautiful. Okay.